Good afternoon, everyone. Before proceeding any further, let's thank the Artesian Rumble Orchestra for the energizing music. My name is George Bridges, and as the sixth president of the Evergreen State College, it's my honor to open Evergreen's 47th commencement ceremony. As is our tradition at Evergreen, I begin our time together by acknowledging the indigenous people of the Northwest, whose lands on which this building, our campus, resides, was ceded to the federal government in the Medicine Creek Treaty of 1854. I specifically acknowledge the Squaxin people, who are the traditional custodians of this land, and pay respect to the elders, past and present, of the Squaxin Island tribe. And I extend that respect to all Native people present here today. I'm very glad we're all here together in the heart of campus, ready to celebrate the accomplishments of those about to graduate. We have a wonderful day ahead, and I begin by asking the Evergreen State College graduating class of 2018, please rise. Today we're filled with pride and joy, and we're gathered here together, faculty, staff, governing board members, parents, friends, family members, to congratulate you. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Graduates, I can see that some of you already discovered mementos in the form of umbrellas. Today they are parasols from the Evergreen Foundation. These are provided by the foundation from generous gifts given to the college. Please enjoy them and use them however you so choose. Before we proceed today with our ceremony, I'd like to thank the law enforcement, emergency response, and campus security officials here today. They are here solely to ensure a safe, enjoyable, and memorable day for all of us. Thank you for joining the celebration and for your service. It's now time for me to introduce and acknowledge a few individuals and groups who are here today joining us. Seated behind me are members of the Board of Trustees of the Evergreen State College. Trustees are appointed by the Governor of the State of Washington and, as volunteers, serve to ensure that the college is administered appropriately in accordance with its charter and the laws of the State of Washington. They are leaders of our state who have dedicated their time, energy, and ideas and personal resources to supporting higher education, and in particular Evergreen. As I introduce our trustees, they will stand up, but please hold your applause until all are standing. First, Trustee Monica Alexander from Tacoma, class of 2013. Y'all, hold your applause. Trustee Fred Goldberg from Olympia. Trustee Irene Gonzalez from Spokane. Trustee Keith Kessler from Hoquiam, Trustee Dave Nicandri from Tumwater, Trustee Ann Proffitt from Freeland, again class of 76, and Student Trustee Justin Puckett from Olympia. Trustees, thank you for your service. Now, applause please. Along with the trustees on the platform are our speakers and special guests today. Member of the faculty, Terry Setter, chosen by the faculty to be the faculty speaker. Student Arielle Murray, chosen by the undergraduate students to be the undergraduate speaker. And Arielle LaPlante from the Amskahi Bikuni, selected by the graduate students for their speaker. We're also fortunate to have State Representative Sharon Santos here as our commencement speaker. I'll tell you a bit more about Representative Santos in just a bit. Finally, administrative officers and academic leaders of the college are also joining us on stage today. They include Steve Blakesley, Chair of the Faculty and Chair of the Faculty Agenda Committee, John Carmichael, Chief of Staff to the President and Secretary to the Board of Trustees, Jennifer Drake, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, Chastity Holloman Douglas, Vice President, Vice Provost for Equity, Inclusion, and Student Engagement, Tina Kukan Miller, Vice President of Indigenous Arts and Education, Ernest Stone Thomas, Senior Advisor to the President, and Amanda Walker, Vice President for Advancement and Executive Director of the Evergreen State College Foundation. Please recognize those administrative leaders. Finally, not on the platform, but throughout the audience are members of the Evergreen State College Foundation, Foundation Board of Governors, Alumni Association Board of Governors, and thousands of individuals who have made substantial contributions to this college and our students. Please recognize them as well. Next, I'd like to introduce Keith Kessler, the chair of our Board of Trustees, who will extend a brief welcome on behalf of our trustees. Keith is a native of Hoquiam, Washington, a prominent lawyer and member of the legal communities in Seattle and Grays Harbor. Most important to us, Keith is a dear friend of our college, a longstanding member of our board, and a wonderful human being for whom I am thankful every day, given his leadership and advocacy on behalf of Evergreen. I'm honored to share the stage with him this afternoon. Please welcome Keith Kessler, Chair of the Board of Trustees of the Evergreen State College.
Thank you, Dr. Bridges. Graduating students, parents, and families. As Chair of the Board of Trustees of this extraordinary college, I salute and congratulate you and thank the graduating students for your impact that you're about to make on the world. The Peace Corps announced earlier this year that Evergreen ranked 4th among small schools in its 2018 top volunteer producing colleges list. There are 14 Greeners currently serving worldwide, and a total of 252 Evergreen students have had service in the Peace Corps since the institutions began back in the 1960s. At least 3 of today's graduates will continue that tradition, including Senior Alexander Butler. Following graduation, Alexander is headed for the Philippines, where he'll serve as a learning program coordinator, teaching English, as well as contributing sustainability and HIV/AIDS work in a rural community. Last week, the Cascade Conference announced that our volleyball captain and senior, Sharon Baird, is a 2018 recipient of its Champion of Character Award. Cheyenne has served as the chair of the Evergreen Student Athlete Advisory Board the last 2 years and has been instrumental in aligning athletic department service projects with the Special Olympics. Cheyenne embodies what being a student athlete is all about. Senior Pixie Starr already had a background in taxonomy and farming when she enrolled at Evergreen 4 years ago. She planned to study ecology and botany, but a pre-calculus and physics program called Patterning the World sparked within her a passion for physics. Pixie spent her 4 years at Evergreen researching a wide variety of sciences, learning a computer programming language called Python through an independent learning contract, and received a research grant from the National Science Foundation. This fall, Pixie will enter the University of Washington's Physics PhD program, where she plans to pursue planetary science and explore the realm of astrophysics. Innovative faculty and students. U.S. News and World Report ranks Evergreen as the most innovative school among regional universities in the West, #1. And it ranks Evergreen #1 for best undergraduate teaching among regional universities in the West, #1. Washington Monthly, which emphasizes service to society, ranks Evergreen #3 among the top 100 master's universities in the nation. And in terms of extraordinarily liberal arts education, Best Colleges Online ranks Evergreen #1 in the category Unique Colleges Every Non-Traditional Student Should Consider. And we do, in fact, have some of the most creative students and programs in the nation, so you have every reason to be proud today. Please join me in celebrating your graduation. Congratulations to you all.
Now let me begin by completing our welcomes and thank yous. I want to extend a warm welcome to the many family members here today. Will the parents, step-parents, spouses, grandparents, relatives, and friends of our graduates please rise? Please. You may be seated. That's great. Thank you for supporting these students in their Evergreen journey. Many of you have poured your heart, soul, and perhaps much of the contents of your bank account into these students. Many of you have traveled long distances just to be here today. Many of you have waited, hoped, and even dreamed for the arrival of this day so that you could celebrate the accomplishments of your family member here before us. Thank you for your generous form, whatever it took. Students, these dear people, your friends, the members of your families have supported you throughout your education, often from the moment you were infants to this momentous day. Today is about you and your accomplishments, but it's not all about you. It's about your families, your friends, and all 5,000 people here today and many more online who are excited to be joining you in this momentous occasion. And it is about ensuring that today we respectfully acknowledge them and their many contributions to their success, your success, in our ceremony. So class of 2018, faculty and staff colleagues, and those of us here on the platform, let's express our gratitude for their support and their journey with us today. Thank you. A thank you to staff. Evergreen has more than 500 full-time staff members and nearly as many part-time staff who maintain and support the college's operations, enabling our faculty to teach, students to learn. They are an amazing force. They're impressive people caring much about the school. They are among the most dedicated and passionate people here at Evergreen. Please help me by recognizing every staff member who's made this event today happen and possible. Now, there is one staff member who I have to recognize by name. I wish I could do many, but this is a person who has been building commencement programs and orchestrating all of these activities for 34 years. Her name is Michelle Elhart, and she's probably hiding amongst us. But Michelle, this is right here. Michelle Elhart. Today, she is graduating from Evergreen with you. This will be her last commencement event, and we are deeply, deeply appreciative of all the work you've done, Michelle. Thank you so much. Finally, I'd like us to recognize our faculty. Can we please have the members of the Evergreen faculty who are present stand? Our faculty work closely together to imagine, construct, and implement tremendously creative and rigorous programs of study. They also take the time to get to know each and every student, to check in on them and to promote their progress, to discuss and influence their educational path, and at the end of each program, to complete these unique, substantive, narrative evaluations that help students understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and opportunities for growth. Colleagues, thank you for your dedication and commitment to our graduates here today. You may be seated. Thank you. Now to this year's guest speaker. Representative Sharon Santos has dedicated her career to the advancement of public education, civil rights, women's rights, economic justice, environmental justice, and affordable housing. She is a 1985 graduate of the Evergreen State College and holds a Master of Arts degree from Northeastern University. Representative Santos was elected to the State House in 1998 and has served for 10 terms, representing our 37th legislative district, which includes Renton and South Seattle. She chairs the House Education Committee and serves on the House Business and Financial Committees and the Technology and Economic Development Committees. Her legislative proposals reflect her strong advocacy for children, young children in particular, ensuring we have well-trained educators, and closing the opportunity gap. Representative Santos believes our state must strive to provide education excellence and opportunities for each and every student to learn. A committee of Evergreen staff and graduating seniors selected Representative Santos to be the graduation speaker. She has remained close to her alma mater and credits Evergreen for providing her with the tools necessary to thrive in public service. Just last year, she received Evergreen's Joseph Albert Deere Distinguished Alumni Award, and in speaking about it, she's made the following statements. Evergreen really prepares people for life beyond these campus borders. Evergreen equips people to be critical thinkers, to be effective communicators, to be reflective, and to synthesize diverse perspectives. And most of all, to be agents of their own self-determination. Please welcome Washington State Representative Sharon Tomiko Santos.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Dr. Bridges, I appreciate your introducing me today, and I also thank you for your sincere and steadfast stewardship of the Evergreen State College for the past 2.5 years. I know I do not need to impress upon you the qualities that make Evergreen stand apart from other institutions of higher education here in Washington State or across the country. Because chief among your responsibilities as president is to promote and protect the integrity of the educational process that uniquely defines this school and its scholars. You do so, sir, with diligence and with dignity. I know you are not alone in this endeavor, but rather in a partnership with a dedicated board of trustees, with motivated faculty and staff, and with a community of students, supporters, and collaborators. Chairman Kessler, as an alumna of this special place, I offer my heartfelt appreciation to you and your fellow trustees for your unwavering commitment to and support of the Evergreen State College. Thank you for believing in our non-traditional model of education, interdisciplinary, individualized, powerful, and relevant. Faculty and staff, especially those of you who may have been here as part of my own undergraduate experience, I am grateful to you for creating a space where learning can genuinely unfold and organically take place, as well as then for sustaining the existence of this special place for the past 51 years. Ultimately, of course, I trust that we all agree that the primary reason Evergreen exists is sitting right here in front of us, the students. And that is why we are gathered together this afternoon to celebrate the students of the Evergreen State College who comprise the graduating class of 2018. I am truly honored to be among the first to say congratulations to you, and as a fellow Greener, to welcome you to the alumni ranks. In truth, I am especially delighted to participate in these graduation exercises because, as I confessed to President Bridges, I was not able to walk for my own commencement 30-plus years ago. So, class of 2018, I am grateful to you for allowing me to join you in this important rite of passage that represents the fruition of your efforts to advance your lives through education. This is most certainly a moment to savor, a rare opportunity to pause and remember all that you've accomplished, to remember all that you've experienced, to remember all the obstacles and challenges you've overcome. to remember all the people who have come into your lives and have made an impression on you. Let's take that precious moment now and remember all that has brought you to this memorable point in time. The reflections of your hearts and minds are why we celebrate today. For I recognize that your many paths to this moment of graduation have not always been easy or even encouraging, yet in true gooey duck fashion, you stuck with it. And in some cases, you even stuck your neck out. Am I right? From basic programs to independent learning contracts, you listened to lectures, you participated in seminars, pursued field projects, and partook in potlucks. You do still potluck, don't you? You theorized, you analyzed, and you synthesized. You dissected, digested, and dialogued. Through it all, you evaluated everything. You evaluated your program, you evaluated your instructors, and you evaluated yourself. I remember it well. Little did I realize at the time that my education at Evergreen would influence the pathways I chose to follow, including reluctantly running for public office and my approach to my work. Chuck Palethorpe wrote in one of my evaluations that she's not content with a facile response. To this day, I wear that comment as a badge of honor. I don't know if he's here, Chuck, but thanks. To be fair, Evergreen teaches us all not to be content with a facile response, but pushes us to exhaust our inquiries, to test and retest our assumptions and our conclusions, and to communicate our ideas, opinions, and analyses effectively. As important, Evergreen underscored for me the indispensable value of student agency in promoting deep learning, a lesson that I, in my role as the chair of the Standing Committee on Education in the State House of Representatives, am attempting to import into the common school system of Washington State. Philosopher, scientist, and social critic Noam Chomsky sees this as the constructive purpose of education when he notes, teaching ought to be inspiring students to discover on their own, to challenge if they don't agree, to look for alternatives if they think there are better ones, to work through the great achievements of the past and try to master them on their own because they're interested in them. If that's the way teaching is done, students will really gain from it and will not only remember what they studied, but be able to use it as a basis for going out on their own. Education is really aimed at just helping students get to the point where they can learn on their own, because that's what you're going to do for your life, not just absorb materials that are given to you from the outside and just repeat it. Seen in this light, education is not simply an end in itself, but is a constructive means for perpetual self-development. This is not to say that education is or should be a self-serving endeavor, though the benefits to the individual are indisputable. So too are the benefits to society, which is why educational institutions should be mindful of the quality of their output. According to Swiss psychologist and child development pioneer Jean Piaget, the principal goal of education in the schools should be creating men and women who are capable of doing new things, not simply repeating what other generations have done. Men and women who are creative, inventive, and discoverers, who can be critical and verify and not accept everything they are offered. In other words, critical thinkers, that is, men and women who are not content with facile responses, are essential to societal progress. Still, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would argue that this is but one dimension of education, its utilitarian function. Writing for the Morehouse College student paper as an undergraduate, the young King describes the purpose of education as both practical and principled, warning that, quote, the most dangerous criminal may be the man gifted with reason, but with no morals. We must remember, he continues, that intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. The complete education gives one not only power of concentration, but worthy objectives upon which to concentrate. The broad education will therefore transmit to one not only the accumulated knowledge of the race, but also the accumulated experience of social living. This, I believe, is a reference to a common moral conscience or character, which he saw as a critical component of education, gained experientially, not through book learning or abstract lessons. What exactly is character? These simple words belie the complexities that form the sum meaning of it, but we all know and recognize character when we see it. I know I recently saw evidence of character just a week and a half ago when I was touring the 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York City. The exhibits and narratives were a tasteful, if terrible, reminder of that horrific day when, as a nation, we witnessed the senseless violence that shook and shocked America. The museum faithfully documents scores of men and women helping one another to safety, as well as ministering aid and comfort, without regard to race, ethnicity, national origin, religion, gender, sexual orientation or identity, without regard to income, education, or citizenship status, without regard to any of the traits that make us different, but focusing only on what unites us as one community, our humanity. I highlight this quality because we clearly face an uncertain future in an increasingly volatile world. I believe we must affirm the idea that character counts in fulfilling the deepest hopes of humanity and in creating a genuine community. Like the people of New York, this college community lived through a tense experience that tested the souls of all involved. And here you still stand, individually and institutionally, a testament to your resilience, your resolve, and dare I say, your character. My friends, we gather today to pay tribute to the Evergreen State College class of 2018 and to offer our congratulations for their many accomplishments to date. Graduates, all of us take pride and satisfaction in knowing you are well prepared to handle whatever challenges lie ahead, because the people surrounding you today, your loving family and friends, your trusted advisors and teachers, your peers and colleagues, have stood by and helped ready you for this moment as you step forward to receive your diplomas and embrace your destinies. For this commencement ceremony marks a beginning, not an end. The choices before you now will determine how your life journey continues to unfold. While there can be no doubt that you will encounter further twists and turns on the way, rest assured that your education from the Evergreen State College has equipped you with relevant knowledge, skills, and experiences to climb the highest hills and to cross the rockiest of roads. And when you do find yourself walking in some other woods someday, allow your character to be your true compass, helping to forge your future and to shape our community of tomorrow. For you have shown that you are indeed taller than the trees. Thank you all so very much for the honor and the opportunity to share in this grand celebration of the constructive and creative power of an education provided by Evergreen. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Representative Santos. Our undergraduate speaker is up next. Arielle Murray represents Evergreen's baccalaureate degree recipients. She describes herself as a Black, Atlanta-born, queer hip-hop scholar, an activist and a cultural strategist. She is graduating with her BA with a focus on hip-hop theory and social justice strategy. Through her work as a poet and a scholar, she explores the uses of intimacy, art, and ritual in the practice of Black resistance. Throughout her time here at Evergreen, her work remained grounded in the Afro-Indigenous legacy of storytelling in the Deep South. She was a 2016 Kopkin Fellow, a 2017 Watering Hole Poetry Scholar, and has been featured as a social-political pundit on CNN. She is a 2018 Lambda Literary Fellow, and her essays and poems have been published in Blue Mesa Review, Selfish Magazine, in Scalawag, On for Harriet, Essence Magazine, Allure, NBC, and the Huffington Post. Her inaugural collection, Gumbo Yaya, is forthcoming in Right Bloody Press, and her work has been the feature of global host of stages, and most importantly, in her grandmother's kitchen. Please welcome Arielle Murray.
Thank you, George. I did not know you were going to read the whole thing. Hey. Class of 2018, we made it. We did it. I want to begin, as I always try to, by first turning up the brightness on my phone, and then going through some acknowledgments. I first want to acknowledge that the land we're now standing on is stolen from the Nisqually, Squaxcomish, and Squaxin tribes. As we gather here today, it should not be forgotten the sacrifices and losses Indigenous and First Nation people have endured at the hands of the United States. I stand as an ally to Indigenous sovereignty. I want to acknowledge the ancestors of Black, African, and diasporic graduates. The ones who toiled in the sharecropping fields of the Deep South, the ones who migrated from the continent, the islands, the ones who survived or are still surviving in a violent country. They bled, sweat, cried, and fought for us. And we are the manifestation of our ancestors' wildest imaginations. I want to acknowledge my Latinx siblings, the strong and powerful generation of dreamers who somehow by miracle and determination and their own innate magic have conquered academia and made it here in the midst of one of the most xenophobic, violent, fascist administrations this country has ever seen. And lastly, I want to acknowledge my beautiful lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, intersex, asexual, non-binary, gender non-conforming family. Where would any of us be without our community? You have held your ground, lived fully in your truths, your gender identity, your lovers and who you're meant to love, your right to exist in the ways in which you see fit as your beautiful, beautiful selves. And by the way, happy freaking Pride. All of us overcoming legislation, policies, institutions, and social hurdles that have told us we're not meant to exist, that we're not fit to thrive, not worthy of being seen. We are here. We have survived, and we have made it this far. I took a walk through the woods, and I came out taller than the trees. It's a quote by some old dead white dude. Henry David Thoreau, and it's our graduation theme. Here we are in the woods, surrounded by friends, family, and yes, plenty of trees. I'm a poet, which means I take nothing literally. Everything is a metaphor, and that's not always a good thing, but I think it will serve us well today. I wonder what inspired Thoreau to venture into the woods, a deep, dark, uninhabited place where our vivid nightmares come alive in the shadows. While it is true that Thoreau could have found himself literally walking through the woods, I like to think that it meant something deeper. I think of it as a metaphor for adversity. We are unfortunately familiar with the term. In this country, people are often devalued in most violent ways if they happen to be queer or trans, working class, Black or brown, disabled, neurodivergent, or any intersection of these. And more unfortunately, we are familiar with adversity right here in our own slice of wood at the Evergreen State College. In preparing for this speech, I thought really concretely about my experience here and the highs and the lows. And that led me to take a look back through the Evergreen State College's bias incident reports, which are reporting each student gets via email when an incident of malicious act is related to bias or racism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, etc. Am I getting any nervous looks from folks behind me? I wanted to see what it was exactly that this class of 2018, has endured together. And I found a couple things that I think might surprise you. There were incidents that range from Black trans students having their windows shot out in the middle of the night, flyers around campus that argued against Black people being actual humans, verbal, physical, and more violent forms of assault against students that were motivated by biases against gender, sexuality, race, color, ability. Y'all know the list goes on. I also found moments of light in between those trees. And you can think of those incidents as the literal manifestations of this metaphor that Thoreau was going on and on about, right? These incidents, each tall, towering pillars that isolate us, that quell our determination, that block out the sun. Think too then of the woods extending beyond our little bubble here in Olympia. Students who were trying to turn in papers and show up for class while mourning the tragedy of state violence and anti-blackness, the nomination and then election of a rapey Cheeto, and so many larger, seemingly impossible trees, and then more local and intimate. The attacks on campus against students of color, Nazi terrorism, bomb threats, and even the attacks against students that we know and are sitting next to us right here today. Think of who is most greatly impacted by these things that I've mentioned, how densely packed their own woods must have been. Hang on, it gets better. Because this is the part that we forget to revisit in thinking about how dark it is and dense and how thick the trees are. The part when, like the great Maxine Mims, some of you might have heard of her, like her, we recognize the woods for what they truly are and clear the path both for ourselves and the people coming behind us. Here is the part where we celebrate that we made it. We were challenged and yet we've made it. We were doubted and yet we've made it. We were attacked or neglected or doxxed or thrown into struggle and yet here we are. We made it. And so thinking forward, because I've named what was behind us, thinking forward, here is my charge to you. And I invite, really quickly, if you're able, anyone who identifies as Black or brown, Indigenous, LGBTQ, disabled, or any other marginalized identity to stand for a moment. Yeah, y'all look great. Take a look around at yourselves. I affirm and empower the beautiful work it took for you to get here. I know that you've made it because someone cleared the way for you or you cleared the way for yourself. And I challenge each of you to not wait for anyone's permission to cut down the trees in the woods Thoreau was talking about. To clear the path for yourselves and let the sun in for you and whoever walks alongside you. And here's your charge. If you identify as white or cis, straight or able-bodied and financially secure, you can stand. Don't be scared. Come on now. Here's your charge. Do what you must so that you do not become the trees in someone else's forest. Do what you must so that you never sow a seed or water the mud or even make a clearing for anyone hoping to be the trees in a Black woman's forest, an Indigenous person, Latinx folks, South Asians, TGNC folks of color, or anyone who appears along these intersections. This means recognizing your implicit biases, addressing them, facing them as Thoreau faced his own woods. Inconvenience yourselves to uplift the voices of marginalized people and know that in that, you're making space in the clearing for your liberation as well. It is up for all of us to walk through this wood together and cut down the trees so that this forest shines brighter and brighter and brighter. Do this, class of 2018, and together we can fell these tall trees. Y'all can sit down now, it's okay. Together we can fell the forest. Together we can build a world that looks more like a beautiful field than a murky wood. Together we can walk taller and taller out of the darkness into a brighter world. And I'm not gonna pretend that I know what that looks like. I know a lot more about what freedom isn't than what it is. But I do know this, if we've been able to make it this far, hand in hand, sitting alongside people with identities and experiences that differ from ours, then perhaps there is hope that we can walk out of the woods as Thoreau did, taller and taller than the trees that we leave behind. Thank you so much, class of 2018. Congratulations. I love y'all.
Arielle, thank you for that message of inspiration and hope. Our graduate student speaker is Arielle Murray of the Mscapi Piikani Nation. He was born on the Blackfeet Indian Reservation and raised by his grandparents, Leota and Francis Gallagher Horn. At the age of 18, he left the reservation to attend Stanford University and graduated with a degree in human biology in 2014 before entering Evergreen's Master in Teaching program in fall of 2016. Arielle plans on teaching high school science while pursuing a doctorate of education. His hope is to start his own system of schools centered on supporting academically off-track Indigenous students. In addition to being a teacher and a researcher, he also aspires to be a National Park Ranger like his relative, Francis Gardapi, the first Native American to fill that role. Please welcome Arielle LaPlante.
Prepared to speech. No, I'm kidding. I should get some water. Anyway, before I begin my speech, I would like to thank the people of the Medicine Creek Treaty for letting me be here, grow, and learn on their land. I'd also like to thank parents and family members for traveling all this way to be with your students. And I'd also like to thank the ancestors of all the individuals here for coming and supporting your students. We set up the teepee on the knoll behind you as a place for our ancestors to gather, and we also set up to raise awareness about murdered and missing Indigenous women, and so that is why the teepee's there. I like to keep my speech a little short, so let's get going. First, I'd like to reiterate again that I would like to thank the people of the Medicine Creek Treaty for allowing me to be here. My name is Arielle LaPlante of the Omskopi Piikani Nation. I was raised by my grandparents, Leota and Francis Gallagher Horn Sr. on the Blackfeet Indian Reservation in Browning, Montana. Even though my grandparents may be gone, I can still feel their spirits beside me and hear their wisdom within my heart, which helps guide my path in this world. It is through their steadfast dedication to our community, Indigenous people, and the Blackfeet culture that I have chosen to become an educator and stand before you today. One of the most important lessons that I've learned from my grandparents, especially my grandmother, was the role storytelling plays in the continuation of culture, navigation of life, and most importantly, the healing and infliction of trauma. I think Cherokee writer Thomas King articulates it best when he states, "Stories are medicine. A story told one way could cure, that same story told another way could injure." And let me repeat that again. A story told one way could cure, and that same story told another way could injure. My advice to you is to be careful what stories and characters you allow into your life, as each informs who you are as a human being. And to help you on your journey for whatever path you may take, I will share one of my favorite stories with you. And so this story was told to me by Jean Tagabon and Roger Fernandez. It is a Cherokee story, and I say it with permission to honor the Indigenous people of this land, the Indigenous art of storytelling, and the graduates who are here today. Before I begin, I'd like to state that all stories are real, but this one really happened. So here we go. I brought my drum. Thank you. So, this story is called Little Rabbit. So I'll begin. In a time before this time, the animals had a big problem. It was a terrible problem that affected each and every one of them, and they could not figure out how to solve it. They were perplexed. The animals know that when they are confronted with a big problem, they need to get together in the big house in a circle with a fire in the middle. Everyone gets together and everyone says something. Every voice is listened to, every idea is considered, and this is how you solve a big problem. And the animals know this. So the animals go to the big house and sit around the fire. They start talking, and when from outside the house they hear a drumming and a noise. Hey, hey, hey. And the animals say, "Who's making all that noise?" And the animals go outside. And standing there with his drum is Little Rabbit singing a song. Hey, hey, hey. And the animals say, "Little Rabbit, you need to be quiet. We are having a meeting in the big house, a very important meeting about a big issue. You are making so much noise we cannot hear a thing. So Little Rabbit, be quiet until our meeting is over." And the animals go back inside the big house, and they sit around the fire and start talking about the problem again. When from outside the house, they hear drumming and chanting. Hey, hey, hey. And the animals go back into the big, and the bear goes, no. And the bear goes outside and says, "Little Rabbit, didn't you hear us? You need to be quiet. Our big meeting is over, or our big meeting isn't over. Can't you be quiet, Little Rabbit?" And Little Rabbit looks up at the bear and drums and chants, saying, "Hey, hey, hey." So the bear reaches over and pulls off one of the rabbit's arms and says, "You will get this back when the meeting is over. Now be quiet, Little Rabbit." And so the bear goes back inside the house and the little rabbit and says, "Little Rabbit can't bother us now. He has only one arm. He can't play his drum." And the animals start the meeting again. And from outside the house, they hear drumming. Hey, hey, hey. And Little Rabbit is playing with just one good arm. And so the wolf goes outside, the animals are getting upset. And they ask, "What is wrong with Little Rabbit?" And Wolf says, "I will go out and take care of him." So Wolf goes out and says, "Little Rabbit, haven't you heard? Didn't Bear tell you not to play?" So the wolf reaches over and grabs Little Rabbit's other arm and pulls it right off and says, "You will get this arm back when the meeting is over. Now be quiet, little one." And so the wolf goes back into the house and says, "I took care of that Little Rabbit. He can't bother us now. He has no arms. He can't play his drum." And the animals start the meeting again. And when from outside the house they hear stomping. Hey, hey, hey. And the animals say, "What is wrong with Little Rabbit?" They are all getting very upset, and Coyote says, "I will take care of him. I know what to do." And so Coyote rushes outside and says, "Little Rabbit, don't you know what is going on?" But Little Rabbit keeps stomping his foot and saying, "Hey, hey, hey." Coyote reaches over and grabs one of Little Rabbit's legs and pulls it right off and says, "You will get this back when the meeting is over. Now be quiet, Little Rabbit." And Coyote goes back into the house and says, "I took care of Little Rabbit. No arms and only one leg. He can't bother us now." And the animals start the meeting again, when from outside the house they hear hopping. And the animals start the animals start the meeting again, when from outside they hear hopping. Little Rabbit is hopping around on one leg, still singing that song. Hey, hey, hey. And the animals are very upset. Finally, Eagle says, "I will take care of this once and for all." And Eagle goes outside and says, "Little Rabbit." And Little Rabbit is hopping around on one leg. And so Eagle reaches over and he grabs Little Rabbit's head and pulls it right off. And says, "You will get back your head when the meeting is over." And Eagle goes back into the house and says, "No arms, no legs, or no arms, no head, no arms, and only one leg. He can't bother us anymore." So the animals start the meeting again when from outside the house they hear a little noise. Hey, 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 hey. And the animals realize something. The song was coming from Little Rabbit's heart. It was the song in his heart to sing, it was the song in his heart to sing. And they realized everything that they'd done was wrong, because when something comes from the heart, there's nothing you can do to stop it. In fact, if you are a friend, you should help them. So Eagle put back Little Rabbit's head, Bear and Wolf put back his arms, and Coyote asked to keep Little Rabbit's legs since it's almost lunchtime. But the others made him give it back, and there was Little Rabbit all together again. And Little Rabbit got out his drum, and he taught the animals the song, and they sang it with him. Hey, hey, hey. That is all for that story. Now, it is not the role of the storyteller to tell you what the story means. That is for you to decide. And in practicing my teacher moves, I'm going to help you in that process. So the next thing I want you to do is I want you to do a think, pair, share. So I want you to turn to your partner or the closest person to you, and for the next 2 minutes, talk about what you think that story meant. So take 2 minutes and talk with your peers, starting now. You have 1 more minute. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's get some responses from the crowd, from the class. What are some ideas you think that story meant? Please raise your hand. Down in front. They should have took the rabbit's heart. Oh. Interesting interpretation. I've not heard that one before. Okay. Let's go over here, down in front, second row. About resistance. A good one. What about some other ideas? Let's get a couple more hands. Way over in the MIT section. Resiliency. Yeah. A lot. I see a trend here. Let's go right over there in the second row. Yeah, I'm pointing at you.
Inclusion.
Huh?
Rabbit wasn't invited to the other meeting.
Yeah, it's important not to exclude people. Good. So, again, it's not the role of the storyteller to tell you what you think. So whatever you take away from that story is what you take away with it. But it is my gift and the gift of many Indigenous people to you to help you on your journey. So this is coming to the end of my speech, and I want to thank each and every one of you for coming here today and humoring me and my storytelling. I hope if there's a story in your heart that you'll let it out. And I think you might be surprised about the impact you'll have. Thank you. Mani Wachoni, Water is Life, Black Lives Matter, protect the bear's ears, bring our sisters home, and honor your ancestors always. Thank you.
How many of us would like to have Arielle as a high school teacher, huh? I want to go back to high school with him there. Thank you, Arielle. This year, our faculty voted to select Terry Setter as their graduation speaker. Terry has been a member of the faculty for 35 years. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Music Composition from the University of California, Santa Barbara, and Master's of Arts degrees in Music Composition, Music Theory, and Music Technology from the University of California, San Diego. At Evergreen, he's offered programs in music and audio production for over 31 years and twice took students to West Africa to study traditional forms of music and dance. In 2009, he co-founded the Consciousness Studies Planning Unit and now divides his time between teaching in the arts and consciousness studies. He is known in the music industry for his successful designs of vacuum tube microphones and for working on recordings as a tracking, mixing, and mastering engineer. His other love is flamenco music, and he has performed internationally as a guitarist and dancer. Please welcome me in joining Terry Setter.
Thank you all for the honor of being able to speak to you today. After 35 years, it comes with a great impact to me. I want to talk to you about what it means to graduate and a little bit also about what happens when you do. Our culture has very few initiations. We have high school graduation, we have marriage, we have a few religious events. And that word initiation is always associated with transition. It means to be brought into a new group. It also means to begin something. True initiation means that the person is no longer who they were before. There's something new, and they have new potentials. Our ceremony today is your initiation. As a rite of passage, that involves a significant change to your status in the society, and it's one of the highest and most widely recognized initiations in American culture. The word graduation comes from the early alchemists. In those days, it meant the tempering or refining of something to a certain degree. And look, we call what you're receiving today a degree. To graduate literally means to take a step or to climb to a higher level, rising by various stages. And a graduate is literally someone who holds a degree who has been raised to a higher level or rank. When I see young men hanging out on street corners, I think to myself, those are people who are they're longing for an opportunity to prove themselves, to become something new and something more highly respected, to go through a challenging initiation and to be accepted at a higher rank. Well, what you have attained today is a higher rank. It is a higher degree. And after graduation, you will not be the same person that you have been. After my graduation with the bachelor's degree, I drove the 100 miles back to my hometown, and the next day, I went to visit some relatives. The door was open, and I knocked on the screen door, and I heard from the inside, "Who is it?" Well, half jokingly, I said, "It's the college graduate." I went inside. But then it hit me. It hit me hard. It hit me because they were treating me differently. And that, for me, that was my actual moment of recognition. I was a college graduate. So even if you don't feel different, the world sees you differently. And it won't let you do the same thing and be the same thing as you did and were before. The people around you will change. They'll change their relationship to you, whether you like it or not. After today, you have a new identity. You might feel that when your name is called to come up on stage, suddenly there it is. Or perhaps when you shake President Bridges' hand, you'll feel it then. By graduating, you've arrived at something that is deeply acknowledged in our society. Your name is even different now. You've added a couple of letters, BA, BS, MA. That's a significant marker in our culture. We don't change names very often. And so bear that in mind as you move forward. When you now have the opportunity to write down or identify yourself, those letters behind your name mean something very significant in our culture, and I would, of course, hope to you personally. But the degree you get today comes with rights and responsibilities. It's always like that, isn't it? And you might not be expecting some of those. For example, you can check a new box on loan applications now. Sorry for that coarse example, but that box will be under the heading Level of Education. The question is, why is that box on the loan application? It's there because our society believes that you are now more likely to succeed. Our society believes you're likely to do better than someone who hasn't graduated, who hasn't raised themselves up to that higher degree. And as for the responsibilities that come with graduating, your degree means that society can expect things from you. One of the most important of those things is that society will look to you and it will want you to use your skills and training to help to lead us forward. There's three things I'd like to ask you to remember from what I'm saying today. Remembering more is certainly optional. But first, families are not in the business of evolution. They're in the business of survival. They will ostracize members that refuse to fit in or who change too much. By going to college, you have changed. You have evolved. There could be some moments, some adjustments that are not comfortable. If that's the case, be compassionate. Second, well-prepared students are gifts to the world. That means you are a gift to the world. Honor that in yourself. Third, college is a lot of work, but life after graduation is often even more work, and it can be exhausting. Fortunately, there is some wisdom from an old Scottish monk that I can offer you. He said, "The cure for exhaustion is not rest. The cure for exhaustion is wholeheartedness." So don't exhaust yourselves. Move through the world wholeheartedly. Mean the things that you say. Think about what you're doing. Thank the people who helped you get where you are. And invest yourself in your life wholeheartedly. Then, when society looks to you for guidance and direction, give it wholeheartedly. Give it with love and give it with joy. So, from me and all of the academic world, congratulations, you did it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry. So guess what? We've reached the moment. Y'all have been so patient. You've listened to some great words, courageous words by some of our speakers. And in a few moments, our Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Jennifer Drake, will present, and the Board of Trustees will formally recognize our newest Evergreen graduates. We will award our degrees in two groups. First, we'll award the graduate degrees and then the undergraduate degrees. And I want all the parents, family members, friends in the audience to know that we have 4 professional photographers here around the stage. If you can't get a good photo from where you are or from the Jumbotron over here, we've got it covered. And I want to ask the graduates, upon receiving your diplomas, please return to your seats after you do. These are likely the last moments that you'll spend together as a group, so let's make the most of them. The last person crossing the stage deserves the same support, the same respect and celebration as the first. Your fellow graduates and their families and friends will appreciate your thoughtfulness. Now I'd like to invite to the lectern Evergreen's Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Jennifer Drake, and the Chair of Evergreen State Board of Trustees, Keith Kessler, to come up and prepare to confer your degrees. Dr. Drake, please present the candidates.
Members of the board, members of the faculty, and invited guests, I am pleased to present the candidates for the degrees of Master in Teaching, Master of Environmental Studies, and Master of Public Administration. Over there. There are 25 students in the 26th class of the Master in Teaching program. This cohort of teachers will, as have past MIT graduates, make a significant difference in the lives of their future students. We're proud that many of them will teach in the Puget Sound area. There are 47 students in the 32nd class of the Master of Environmental Studies program. All of these candidates are prepared for complex work in a rapidly changing and vital field, one that's particularly visible here in the Pacific Northwest. Public, private, and third sector organizations will benefit from their knowledge and skills. The 37th class of the Master of Public Administration program comprises 68 students. 7 are Evergreen staff members. Many were already dedicated public servants when they entered our program. Today, they're all prepared to promote an engaged, active citizenry, responsive, effective organizations, and to reinstill public trust in government. Will the candidates please rise? Trustee Keith Kessler, on behalf of the faculty, I present to you the candidates for the degrees of Master in Teaching, Master of Environmental Studies, and Master of Public Administration.
Dr. Drake, President Bridges, ladies and gentlemen, with the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, it is with great pleasure that I confer upon these candidates the degree of Master in Teaching, Master of Environmental Studies, and Master of Public Administration. Will the candidates please follow the marshal to be recognized?
James Andrew Jarnigan. Yay! Michael Patrick Caldwell. Woohoo! Jordan LaShawn Rawls. Yes. Hayden Michael Zabel. Tiara Marie Violet Hill. Emily Claire Rose Martin. Yes. Michelle Jane Tate. Yes. McKenna Shea Taggart. Jade Catherine Garvey. All right. Adia Maurice Bigelow. Yes. Rel Patrick LaPlante. Yes. Evan Martin Sanders. All right. Kevin J. Kim. Yes. Sean Thomas Wood. Yes. Kelly C. Odell. All right. Amy Marie Cole. Right on, everyone.
Yeah, both of us for MPA. But yeah, 2 lines. We need 2 lines.
Stephanie Ann Ross Love. Hannah Mary Andrews. Violet Lamb. Hannah Marie Feeback.
Jesus. Megan L. Rosenberg.
Nicole Lauren Vukanich.
Susan Michelle Harris.
Christopher Wukash.
Amy K. Calder.
Joshua Kyle Dye.
Annie Elsie Pocklington.
Rihanna Hareska.
Heather Glock. We're not too fast, are we?
Aaron Gibson Lyman.
Elatia Bennett. Hi, honey.
Michael Pigarsh.
Rebecca Lynn Purser.
Fox Blackhorn Delph.
Rainey Louise Fogel.
Kara Lee Horton.
Melvin John Ashew.
Jennifer Fenswick.
Deborah Penny Jim.
Carmen Selena Tagent.
Sanyu Kashabi.
Heather Mo Hoyle.
Marisa Sanchez Reed.
Ava Marie McCluskey.
Oh, Karama Katsina Blackhorn.
Catherine R. Flora.
Paul Keith Klein.
Shirley Easter Seloy.
Christina Grandin.
Taylor Pulsifer.
Ulysses Ambry Martin III.
Melissa K. Naimi.
Yes.
Brandy Violet Wiaskas. Andrea Paula Williams.
Edward Raymond Pittman. William Morris Golding. Michelle Louise Horkings Brigham.
Just making sure everyone across the stage, and it looks like that is true. So I now present the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. There are 1,020 of you graduating today. Not all here, but 1,020. You range in age from 19 to 74 years old. Among you are 16 international students. 29% of you identify as students of color, and 6 of you are members of our staff here at Evergreen. It's important to acknowledge the contribution to our enrollment made by Washington's community colleges. Many of you have transferred to Evergreen from the community college system, and many of you have come to us from states around the nation. It's the college's privilege to serve all of you. The rich diversity of our student body is a reflection of Evergreen's commitment to provide all students access to a high-quality, innovative, interdisciplinary liberal arts education. Our communities are all enriched by the assets and talents of each member of this graduating class. Will the candidates please rise? Trustee Kessler, on behalf of the faculty, I am pleased to present these candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science.
Thank you, Dr. Drake. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'm honored to have played a role in your education, and I trust that your time here at Evergreen will become an important part of a lifelong quest to learn all you can. With the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to confer upon you the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. Will the candidates please follow the marshal to be recognized?
Malika Elizabeth Iyer.
Katana Marie Serrano.
Kirby Randall Christopher Sr.
Isaiah Lampkin.
Michelle A. Brownlee.
Angela Marie Daniels.
Randa J. Alborn.
Deborah K. Brown.
Andrew Davin Spertson.
Jessica Lynn Wimheiner. Kyle Francis Couts.
Jamie Leanne Hutchinson.
Susan Joyce Ochi.
Melissa T. Pascal.
Justina Falashadi Marinica.
Irva J. Hobson.
Allison Levesque.
Emmy Tanamau. Tanwanu.
Lindsay Marie Prickett.
Anna Milagros Ramsey Stewart.
Shavana Christina Youngblood Bonds.
Alexandria Marie Stadola.
Sherry Lynn Douglas.
Vincent E. Cook.
Don Peters.
Toyana Carlene Harnden.
Kathy Lum Kao.
Lee Marie Poor.
Joe Wahalatsu Seymour Jr.
Troy Jeffrey Bacon.
Becky Lynn Cloutus.
Matisse Ann Davis.
Madeline Chitwe Friedman.
Courtney Marie Dossett.
Joey Alinza Bashum.
Connor Smith. No. Iona
Shaulu Didemia McClellan.
Emerson Rose Craig.
Claire Bullis.
Alessandra Josefina Siracusa.
Jeffrey I. Jacobson.
Wisnu A. Weinstock.
Caleb Rivers.
Tyrone Alexander Costin.
Ross Anderson.
Jacob Roger Golding.
Jenna Mason.
James Isaac Stewart.
Cora Lee Watson.
Kyle Garrett Vogue.
Della K. Richardson and Churro.
Jocelyn Lucienne Elizabeth Jones.
Joshua Charles Craig.
Joshua Peter Brown.
Rachel Victoria Neighbors.
Ronald J. Waldher.
Alexander Rudine Puckett.
Andrew B. Bunting.
Haley Nicole Reineski.
Cecilia Therese Verde.
Taylor Jordan Dre.
Marcia Lufuankanda Dur Warder.
Shanna Marie Burke.
Johnny Iman Threet.
Edward Cordell Jett Jr.
Dustin James Mead.
Terreno Jones Tito.
Desmond Anthony Wilson.
River Sebastian Dante Gates.
DeAndre Taylor.
Nance McMillan.
Jorance Jamal Chisholm.
Philip Eugene Robertson III.
Kevin Renardo Clayton Jr.
Connor Hale Quisenberry.
Alvin Franco Vasquez.
Tyron Lee Molnar.
Meridian Ristine Waldhair Smith.
Alex Bloom.
Jordan Ken Jahwa Hamada.
Jane Tovar.
John Robin Winter.
Gray Mohan.
Bridget Martel Zoller.
Kate Elise Crumbly.
Anna Adams.
Caitlin Grace Bottom.
Lizzie Merrick.
Emily Kim.
Abraham Puz.
Jasmine Latrice Clark.
Julie Marie Pick.
Arielle Marie Lucier.
Indigo Washington.
Chloe Marina Manchester.
Camille Wenjing Christensen.
Emily Ann McDonald.
Aya Yobwe Kondo.
Nicholas Tyler Zorns.
Jesse Andrew Humes.
Nick Lorico Cicero.
Shanique Dominique Benet.
Hannah Rain Kahn.
Andrew Wade Gregory.
Naomi Linker Ishak.
Mariela Christiana Diaz.
Sarah Elena Wakefield.
Kylie Ray Johnson.
Catherine Ruth McNally Barshaw.
Robin Henry Bartels.
Katrina Nicole Newman.
Jorge Benitez.
Shaw Ray Ya. Lynetta Haynes.
Lei T. Diem Tron.
Yazuki Tanabe.
Ryoji Kurogi.
Yukong Victoria Kim.
Yan Pan.
Faiza Az.
Kun Yin Chung. Oh wait, Phoebe Chung.
Jun Ho Lim.
Virid Liber Sarah Ta.
Alana Cooper Prince.
Grant Blatchard Walker.
Anchul Ricky.
Jessica Yvette Andrade.
Jesse Pena.
Habib Anwar Qureshi.
Murphy Mackenzie Gildner.
Jackson Stewart Seymour.
Alice Day Watson.
Zach Robert Lane.
Tyler Leo Tristeo.
Leela Rose Glass.
Elizabeth A. Flynn.
Baljit Kaur.
Heather Elizabeth Powers.
Prisma Ann Brewer.
Miranda Elizabeth Faria.
Nicole Marie Clark.
Ira Zuckerman.
Helen Kong.
Haley Adelaide Bolte.
Sean Thomas Winter.
Kelly Madeline Miller.
Laura Ann Keating.
Elishiva Miller.
Mark R. Art.
Ronald Ellis Holmes II.
Alexander Lawrence John Butler.
Summer J. Bossard.
Catherine Helen Bellamy.
Sid Ray Oliver.
Tobin Marcus Craig.
Ivy Rose Gilliland.
Phoebe Ann Faulkner.
Priscilla Desiderio Herrera.
Serenity Ainsworth.
Tiana Selena Harris.
Lauren Francis Waldinger.
Dustin Tanner Womack.
Jose Isidro Barragan.
Alexandria Marie Johnson.
Claudia Michelle Cataba.
Spencer M. Klein.
Nick John Rawson.
Monique T. Clemens.
Michael Scott Penhaligon.
Catherine Ann Richard.
Aubrey Elizabeth Casey.
Christina Marie Huntley.
Kirsten Kathleen Christensen.
Stefan Richard Bach. Emma Jane Lawson, Christopher Bryant Arnett, Robin Alicia Bjornson, Katie Zundell, Athena Irene Aspinas, Shannon Michelle Hall, Erica L. Sawyer, Tiana Nicole Peters, Jaime Christine Card, Jamie Christine Card, sorry, Naomi L. Wine, Tyler Theodore Beamer, Daniel Jarrus Fitterman, Jordan Nicole Granaki, Lyra Reed Cobb,
Quentin A. Whitefield.
Natalia May Moss,
Jennifer Rodriguez.
David Spencer,
Paige Wright.
Sergio Ishmael Marino Jr.,
Diane Chisandra Jewett.
Sierra Elizabeth Zambrano,
Shauna Lee Firth.
Crystal Lee Parsons,
Isaac Solomon Chavez.
Gabriel Cullen North,
Charles Anthony Gillespie V.
Dominica Geneva Telo,
Yasmin Mariette Goren.
Lucille Kahealani Rickard,
Edmund Montgomery Barker.
Celio Joe Pacheco,
Amber Marie Bongson.
Kelly Zen Rose Stroot Johnson,
Nicholas Eugene Taylor.
Philip Max Milos,
Zachary Aiden Kirk.
Jamie L. Ellertson,
Tanner Christie.
Tyler Stair,
Kirsten A. Kell.
Hafifi Hafifa Abdi,
Asher Quinn Matthews.
Aaron Kelly Nagel,
Emily K. Vaughn Klickman.
Rob P. Cole Jr.,
Charity Lace Ann Kaysen.
Eric David Shenahan,
Joshua David Perman.
Desiree Irene Garrett,
Noel Hyen.
Nadine Christine Tussey,
Melissa Size Matheny.
Mariah Rose Toops,
Madison Bailey Rozak.
Hayden Bird,
Dante Durrell Payne.
Madison Lee Greenkey,
Crystal Lynn Leatherman.
Brian Burrell Nathan Eveland,
Stacia Elizabeth Kraus Ledbetter.
Nicholas Roland Price,
Charles D. Thompson.
Kayla Nicole Altman.
Shayna M. Rossiter.
Juan Carlos David Ruiz Duran.
Kevin Scott Elliott McCrae.
Kyle Samuel Dobbs.
Barack J. Roundtree.
Casey Lamont Irwin.
Melena Burns Flores.
Maria Lane Payton.
Emily Diane Anderson.
Stephen Joseph Venanzo.
Lucas J. Ogden.
Victoria Basu.
Jenna Schroer.
Cody Malachi Allison.
Andrew Joseph Glassbrook.
Kyle Matthew Groston.
Topher White Jr.
Alaric J. Seshianda.
Anissa Joyce Pollard.
Destiny Brianne McIntyre.
Catherine Spinner.
Ashley R. Vinton.
Kevin Ross Shields.
Kayla Austin.
Brett Michael McKenzie.
Daniel Riley Ewing.
Darshan V. Robertson.
Shane Marie Noble.
Baxter D. Lee.
Sean Walton Melvin.
Claudia Helwig.
August Christopher Hirth.
Stephen Meany.
Griffin August McDonald.
David Allen Longnecker.
Wyatt Scott Raphael.
Isabel Fiorenza Corrado.
Lucas Wiseman.
Lucianne Self Brillant.
Jacqueline Esther Greer.
Johan Bixby Christensen.
Carrie Lynn Hernandez.
Michelle Ann Rice.
Olivia Nell Rain.
Mackenzie Lee Nall.
Lily Wolf.
Tasha Grace Dusenberry.
Helen Grace Riley.
Natasha L. Higby.
Erin Emily Elliott.
Maribel Nadine Kennard.
Preston Spalding.
Nika Peseth.
Peter Gregory Jobson.
Mitchell Allen Williams.
Amber P. Lonnie Loudenberg.
Matthew A. Brost.
Roger Punafish.
Andrea Lee Day.
Timothy Hayes.
Robert Vincent Munoz.
Benjamin James Coppin.
Gregory Robert Buck.
Anastasia Nicole Hauser.
Percy Rose Henry Hassabrook.
Joshua K. Kramer.
Rhodes Hinman.
Alan Nathan Lane.
Michael Pearson Siono.
George Castro.
Kenneth Keith Noelton.
Audrey Claire Van.
Connor White Moriarty.
Madison Louise Queen.
Sarah Ann Mejia.
Michael Eugene Satella.
Tessa Lynn Jacobs.
Connor James Beck.
Isa Mohammed Hassan.
Lena Rose Hines.
Maxon Allen Bauman.
Allison Ray McKay.
Cheyenne Marie Baird.
Tepualani Sharisa Failaunga.
John Anthony S. Padul.
Matthew Perry Yen.
Jessica Rhea Louise Williams.
Helen Thi Va.
Cecilia Cortez.
Laurel Rochelle Chamel.
Anualangi Peteru Famwina.
Felix Asherah Chrome.
Adam Cody Falatongwai.
April Dawn Davidson.
Jasmine Leilani Kozak Gilroy.
Keziah Rose Black.
Andrita Olsen Bernstein.
William Galen Hortenstein.
Willow Walsh Woods.
Ethan Charles Durkee.
Nicholas Parker Lee.
Maxwell Alexander Cowdery.
Ruchit Raj Shrestha.
Eric Keegan Boyle.
Kai Robert Harvey.
Hannah Marguerite Forbes.
Nairi C. Sogomonian.
Joseph Brian Kalish.
Michelle Ashley McGee.
Katie Leanne Bentley.
Jody Hannah Kimmel.
Justin Diodisio Fajardo.
Ellie Ruth Hitchings.
Stephanie I. Thomas.
Irene Haley Gribble.
Zane Rupinian.
Olivia Violet Parks.
Pixie Glue Star.
Slade Dillard.
Eugene Wu Ibanez.
Ellie Renee Gilbertson.
Marlena Donkajur.
Elizabeth Lee Chanza.
Anthony Martinez.
Julian Philip Snow.
Lacey Denise Overson.
Scott Howard Jenkins.
Elisa Lee Desky.
Maddie McKinnon Bell.
Chelsea Lee Morel.
Emily Michelle Isom.
Jamie Leanne Lewis.
Megan Ashley Keating.
Bria Rose Gallardi.
Maya Alice Pontarolo Reed.
Ashley Blake Sundin.
Caitlin Anna Goldstein.
Adrienne Sky Chitwood.
Kelson Lawrence Dale McConnell.
Katrina Jo Smolinski.
Ian Gregory Clark.
Mia Lauren Moratini.
Jalencia Chavez Brown.
Reed Marie Stannard.
Angelina Lena Marcy Miller.
Jessica Grace Marcus.
Philip Slepp Jr.
Lisa Zeiger.
Justin Bo DeMont.
Camry Darrell Clark.
Joshua A. Van Pammel.
Mary Grace Mirafuentes de la Rosa.
Evelyn Mary DeRoche.
Shaylee Kendra Jacobson.
Rebecca Laura Caradwin Delph.
Andrea Kirsten Hegg.
Phoebe E. Morris.
Jasmine Felicia Patrice Nordstrom.
Madeline Claire Foley.
Carmen Christina Ortiz.
Christopher Michael Rosso.
Kian Alexander Dashti.
Alexandria Phoenix Bird.
Hannah Olivia Ziff.
Taylor Ann McNeil.
Taran Hope McNeil.
Talia Faye Peterson Galvez.
Jessica Justine Herrera.
Valerie Warren.
James Francis Cummins.
Kelly Larson.
Eric Thomas Drews.
Lily Elizabeth Hay-Ho.
Ann Lucille Robertson.
Sarah Ann Fernandez.
Megan Josephine Bailey.
Shane Richard Gay.
Kitty Watkins.
Weston Ray Lancer.
Ryan Ariel Fazio.
Andrew James Van Velzer.
Rowan Chandler Katz.
David Maxwell Jacks.
Elena Bennett.
Michael D. Korshanoff.
Frank Iman Khan.
Raven Iona Connolly. Congratulations.
Richelle V. Enriquez.
Emmett White.
Corey T. Brenner.
Samantha Overmeyer.
Alejandro Ferrand.
Riley Nova Hoyle Dodson.
Julius Mbewe.
Marcus L. Volk.
Bethany Joanne Evans Martins.
Mohammed Gurban.
Madeline Renee Barr.
Jasmine Michelle Coleman.
Jenny Louise von Henkelman.
Caitlin Ann Kegris.
Jolene Chenoweth Prescott.
Raven Taylor Lynn Yamada.
Sammy Redland.
Samuel Niokis.
Adam Nathaniel Levinson.
Tamika Doadis.
Camila Hegu Allen.
Jordan Riley Sharoti.
Devin Robert Moncada.
Rocky Richard Price Rance.
Sarah Elizabeth Christensen.
Shelby Faye Rose.
Julie Bernice Johnson.
Kelsey Anna Morrison.
Galileo Zen.
Dakota Ashley Cook.
Annika Dagny Lorraine Bach.
Skylar M. Teal-Claire.
Robert Williamy.
Tori Michelle Chapman.
Allison Claire Trister.
Michaela Marie Winkler.
Juliet Darlene Bade.
Evan James Doherty.
Peyton Richard Childs.
Emma McDonald McConaughey.
Cecilia Dunn Jeffrey.
Susie Lynn Thompson.
Emily Christine Webb.
Louisa Wilder Lunsford Crow.
Paige Ann Archer.
Madison Kelsey Dreyer Miller.
Keith Thomas Whiteman.
Madeline Alicia Coughlett Richardson.
Coleman Michael Davis.
Brett Colin Egan.
Emily Gwendolyn Kaysen.
Matthew Carl Schroeder.
Keome Chikumai.
Dylan Savannah Acott.
Pauline Marette Allen.
Jennifer Ann Sherman.
Kendall Taylor Van Dyke.
Nicola S. Sy.
Audrey Isabel Gore.
Savannah Catherine Snowdy.
Justine Victoria Jeffers.
Nora Hantula.
Ryan Thomas Balcom.
Gerardo Ogin.
Lynn Heather Sorensen.
Alexander Boisner.
Evelyn Elise Guerra.
Marisa Ligo.
Vivian Tung.
Alexis Emily Allen.
JJ Caldwell Richardson.
Andrew Brenna.
Malia Lynn Stauber.
Juno Mitsuko Chimera.
Lucian Specht.
Mika Guevara.
Joshua Charles Pollock.
Noah Pellegrino.
Ryan Russell Barrett Guy.
John Robert Shanahan.
Gabrielle Gray Caro.
Alan Patrick Davis.
Emily Kate Lounder.
Brian James Young.
Delaney K. Modelinsky.
Reese Culver.
Michael Shepard.
Kenneth Harvey Cook.
Faith Elizabeth Shuey.
Heather Schultz.
Berkeley Ann Rothwell.
Tristan W. Anderson.
Sage Michaela Passmore.
Celeste Pulido Garcia.
Brian Keith Jackson.
Taylor Earl O'Dyer.
Georgia Lee Berry.
Kelly Sue Smith.
Nicole Ivy Vescovi.
Ari Orr.
Bradley Orr.
Ryan Madison McClure.
Kaya Spilionis Fornis.
Rachel Fielding Grimsley.
Carolyn Linehan.
Elijah Pascal Gordon.
Artemis Cecil Ann Snow.
Elijah Boone Pogue.
Victoria Kathleen Rose Meshke.
Daniel J. Charles Devonshire.
Lindsay Ann Warner.
Teresa Mulligan.
Kayla Fulkerson.
Aaron Joseph Benson Royal.
Eric Scott Walker.
Naomi Sarah Dean.
Gabriel Edward Shelton Yank.
Andrew Garrett.
Mitchell Stephen Woodland.
Weston Moore Parnell.
Colton Allen Weaver.
Brian Two Hawks Wayne Hawkfowler.
Raquel Sade Sejour.
Molly May Gillespie.
Clara Elizabeth Muleheisen.
Badria Nasser Buhammer.
Claire Dash Allport.
Christopher James Stephen Bloomer.
Devon Marie Hogue.
Alex Page Journey. Cassandra Veronica Schaefer.
Paige Cecile Whitener.
Zach Riley.
Brendan Thomas Hurd.
Kay Flores.
Margaret Ann O'Brien.
Megan Flint Yeager.
Miles Oliver Sennett.
Keelan Smith.
Nathan Michael Baker.
Odin Scott Coleman.
Barack Isaac Lake.
Joshua Adam Trottier.
Bryson Zona Gilreath.
Devin Matthew Warren.
Samuel Abbott Kyle.
Jess Michael Lipka.
Cody Keaton Ludwig.
Brianna Joe Bordwell.
Lauren Elizabeth Tornquist.
Chandler Pearl Williams.
Mary Isabella Muir.
Camille Madeline Murdoch.
Jared Paul Johnson.
Noah Thomas Jensen.
Kaya Nevada Woods.
Rebecca Page Bramwell.
Taylor Mackenzie Masker.
Jackie Sarah Vanderhout.
Janice Andrea Tolson.
Jacqueline Marie Buckman.
Zach Brad Stubbs.
Ashlyn Alexander Cooklin.
Ricky Christine Marion.
Mary Ann Kaplan.
Emma Snyder Woodside.
Sarah Razia Wozniak.
Tatum Alexa Bent.
Abigail Claire Lynch.
Sarah Elizabeth Holland.
Jessica Marie Flores.
Randall Paul Weiss.
Jesse Stephen Kraft.
James Wilson Fuller.
Zoe Rose Jagelski. Jacqueline Beth Littleton.
Brianna Brummett Swayze.
Mariah Michelle Carahart.
Tamika Maxwell Bayon.
Van Lynn Turner Ramsey.
Beverly Eve Hamill.
Cody Christopher Dewall.
Eli K. Skaggs.
Pamela Reyna Leverton.
Anika C. Goldner.
Daystar Gower.
Kettle Road Ukowski.
Micah Alexander Nordgren.
Hannah Louise Ellen Young.
Isabel Centeno.
McKenna Michelle Sonez.
Ian Russell McCoy.
Dylan Ann Gibbons.
Franklin Flora Candosia.
Lindsay Wainwright Vanderpool.
Sally John Lynette.
Heidi Jane Stonbach.
Michael Scott Zirpoli.
Zari L. Radcliffe.
Melissa Newbury.
Chloe Fields.
Jay Townsend.
Heather Stewart.
Aaron Joseph Shenewolf.
Christina Maya Holtrip.
Nicholas Bahu.
Caden Kyle Phillips.
Zoe Lee Rubanis.
Amber Jo Duffield.
Ellis David Perry.
Natalie Marie Casola. Brandon Lee Allen.
Alondra Mendoza.
Mackenzie Lynn Marie McCracken.
Anna Liana Marie Parrish.
Bianca Noel Cloudman.
Samantha Rose Snell.
Andreas Pierre Erickson.
Allegra King Radcliffe.
Thanks. Anise Shalee Geddens.
Hannah Marie Nelson.
Adara Daphne Daum.
Alexis Marie Hitchcock.
Kara Loren Lowe.
Gabriel Murray Inskeep.
Sabrina Williams.
Chad Henry Underwood.
Jason Howard Bettis.
Jesse J. Wiedemann.
Joanna Norton Hendrickson.
Derek John Smith.
Jeremy Scott Gordon.
Andy B. Crane.
Please be seated. So oftentimes college presidents use the closing remarks of a ceremony like this to anguish over the vicissitudes of the human condition. I'm not going to do that. At Evergreen, music. Music is a key ingredient of every commencement ceremony, and we will close the ceremony today with the Evergreen Singers, students, friends who are studying choral performance. They are directed by a member of the faculty, Marla Elliott. Please turn to the back of your program where you'll find the words of the Alma Mater, and please join me and the Evergreen Singers with the Alma Mater. Thank you, Marla. Thank you, Evergreen Singers. Thank you, Evergreen Singers. Thank you, everyone. We are adjourned. Congratulations, class of 2018.